A standoff between police and this domestic assault suspect put him behind bars and had Valley of the Rogue State Park closed all day on January 15th.
We have an individual who's made it clear he's not going to cooperate with authority.
According to Oregon State Parks and Recreation Department records, this incident is one of 2 domestic disturbance calls here within the last year.
It is entirely possible for somebody visiting a park to call 911 and get direct service from law enforcement in the area, and we end up with no record of it whatsoever.
Oregon State Police Lieutenant Kelly Collins says Charles Preston Ulmer III barricaded himself inside his travel trailer as troopers headed to the campground. Park rangers made the 911 call when Ulmer III's girlfriend told them he assaulted her.
Our rangers are not armed. They're not trained as law enforcement. They're trained to serve people.
A spokesperson with the Oregon State Parks and Recreation Department says domestic violence is one of many problems visitors bring with them to parks, but the number of calls to OSP is low and doesn't show a growing trend. According to State Parks and Recreation records, in 2013 and 2014, rangers called in the help of troopers for domestic disturbance cases 3 times each year at these parks.
That's across the entire state, where we have 42 million visits over the course of the year.
Lieutenant Collins says, in general, calls for service at state parks aren't necessarily going up.
It's always been a big problem for us.
But says members of the transient community like Ulmer III are behind many of them.
They pose a lot of issues for both law enforcement and the state parks people that have to deal with them on a daily basis.
OSP dealt with Ulmer III to make sure the public wouldn't have to.
You're surrounded by a bunch of innocent civilians who have nothing to do with the situation. You have a freeway running right by with cars, thousands and thousands of cars.
A setting which makes John Pignon uneasy.
To hear things like that makes me really not want to stop through here. To know that I may feel like I have to carry some sort of protection to protect myself worries me. It was never like that before.
Pignon took a short break from driving at the park's rest stop, but the traveler feels lately the area has seen a lot more crime and will start seeing less of him.
I've never been one to just speed on through.
Pignon says he's less likely to stop and smell the roses here because of this man's standoff with police. Covering your news in Gold Hill, Jessica De Nova, News 10.